We think that the development of this Botswana integrated water resource management, water efficiency plan really came as a blessing to this country. Water is very, very, very scarce, and water is really treated like a diamond in Botswana.
Botswana alternate between a drought, very harsh drought seasons, and then a very, very short rainy season. We are very much endowed with natural resources, especially with animals, and that has been able to attract a lot of tourists to this country. Now, getting into the water situation, because of these changing situation that we have in our country and also the increasing population within Botswana, water resources have really come under pressure.
Department of Water is a government entity. We needed somebody who's neutral, making sure that every stakeholder is not fearing that the government is imposing this on us.
Through discussions with the Global Water Partnership Southern Africa, support was given to Botswana to start off first by establishing the Global Water Partnership Botswana chapter, which is known as the Botswana Water Partnership.
We realized that with the limited funding that the government had at the time, we had to look outside the government funds and look into the possibilities of getting some donor funding to be able to make this plan.
GWPSA, the Botswana Water Partnership, and then the Botswana government sat down and together developed a proposal that was submitted to the GEF International Waters Unit.
To make it even more attractive for funding, we had to put in some demonstration projects so that we can actually show the impact of the plan on the ground. And that's actually what attracted GAF to actually now finally fund Botswana.
We are in a school called Kagiso Secondary School. It's a government school. It has got roughly around 2,000 students, and 30% of those students live here in the school premises as boarders. And where we are now, we are at a treatment plant that we use to harvest and treat the water that comes from their ablutions to be used in the school garden. The idea of doing this comes from the fact that, you see, the school has been using potable water for watering the school garden. And in terms of paying the water bills for that is very high for the school. And the school has shown interest that because we are paying a high water bill, maybe we can make savings, and please help us come up with a project that will reduce the cost of us using water.
There was drastic reduction in water use, up to 80% in some of the schools.
We can demonstrate that the water that we normally call wastewater, that we prefer to call wasted water, can actually be used for beneficial purposes. This is where it comes from. And the other thing is, it talked about the involvement of the youth and women as participation in water resources. And by targeting the school, we are actually fitting into those ideals of involving the youth in water management.
The other thing that we developed is the National Water Conservation Strategy. We see every stakeholder's participation, the aim being to reduce about 30% of water consumption in the country.
What we are beginning to see is that most of the recommendations of the IWRM water efficiency plans are now being taken seriously.
Having the Botswana Country Water Partnership really played a very, very vital role in making sure that we develop such a good plan which encompassed everybody.
And in terms of the future, I think Botswana has exhausted all her sites for dams, and now the only source of water will come through transboundary resources. And I think this is where also Global Water Partnership comes in because of its strength and its linkage with the river basin organizations in Southern Africa.
I feel that GWP can still come in and help us with the monitoring and evaluation of the progress that we are making as a country, and help us especially with looking for the financing, the Green Climate Fund, because climate change has really hit us hard in Botswana. So we are trying to come up with adaptation measures in the country